Hello all, I am Dr. Vibhash Kumar Ved and today we'll discuss about the osteology of ulna. So you can see this is ulna, and ulna is a bone of the upper limb and it is situated on the medial part of the forearm and homologous with the fibula of the lower limb. This bone is comprises of two ends and intervening shaft. In the human body, ulna present in a pair. So being a paired bone, how we'll identify the site of the ulna? When you go for the site examination, you always remember the superior end of the ulna is hook-like and it is comprises of two process and two notches. You can see here this process is called olecranon process and below this process is called coronoid process, and in between these two process you can see here a narrow notch. This notch is called trochlear notch, and this trochlear notch should be directed forward, and lateral to the coronoid process you can see here another notch. This notch is called radial notch. So this notch directed toward the laterally. When you see the shaft, the sharpest border of the shaft is called lateral border. So this lateral border should be directed laterally. And when you see the inferior end, so inferior end comprises of head and a hook-like process. This process is called styloid process. So this styloid process which is directed toward the posterior medially. So this point you can easily identify the side of the ulna. So this point, this ulna is left sided bone. Now we'll discuss about the bony feature of the ulna. As I told, the ulna has two ends and an intervening shaft. So let's first see the superior end. The superior end of the ulna look like a hook and it has two process and two notch over here. This process is called olecranon process. The olecranon process project upward from the shaft and it has five surfaces. You can see here this surface is called anterior surface. The anterior surface of the olecranon process is articular and it forms the upper part of the trochlear notch. Then you can see here this surface is called posterior surface. The posterior surface form a triangular subcutaneous area which is separate from the skin by a bursa, and inferiorly it is continued as a posterior border of the shaft of the ulna. Here you can see this is the medial surface. The medial surface is continuous inferiorly with the medial surface of the shaft of the ulna. Then over here this is the lateral surface of the olecranon process. The lateral surface is smooth and continuous as a posterior surface of the shaft of the ulna. Then this surface is called superior surface. The superior surface in its posterior part show a rough area over here. After the olecranon process, you can see here this process is called coronoid process. The word coronoid, which is derived from the Greek, that means is crow's beak, and this process projects forward from the shaft just below to the olecranon process, and this surface also are four surfaces. You can see here this is the superior surface of the coronoid process, and this superior surface of the coronoid process is articular, and this surface form the inferior part of the trochlear notch. You can see here this is the anterior surface is a triangular and rough. Its lower corner form a tuberosity. This tuberosity is called the ulnar tuberosity. Then the lateral surface of the coronoid process marked by a radial notch over here. The head of the radius is articulate over here and form the superior radio-ulnar joint. Thus the annual ligament is attached the anterior and posterior margin of the radial notch. You can see here just below here a depressed part is present. This depressed part which provide accommodation of the radial tuberosity during the supination and pronation movement, and it is limit posteriorly by a ridge. This ridge is called supinator crust. Over here you can see this ridge is called supinator crust. Then you can see this is the medial surface of the coronoid process, and this medial surface is continuous with the medial surface of the shaft of the ulna. In between the olecranon process and the coronoid process, this notch is called trochlear notch, and this trochlear notch form a articular surface that articulate with the trochlea of the humerus. You can see this is humerus bone, and in the lower end of the humerus this structure is called trochlea, and this trochlea which fit over here and form the elbow joint like that. Then the radial notch on the lateral surface of the coronoid process, this radial notch articulate with the head of the radius. This is radius, and the head of the radius which articulate over the radial notch of the ulna like that, and this articulation form the superior radio-ulnar joint. Now we'll discuss about the shaft of the ulna. You can see here in between the superior and inferior end, this portion is called the shaft of the ulna. Shaft has 3 border and 3 surface. Let's first see the border of the shaft of the ulna. You can see here the sharpest border of the shaft. This border is called lateral border and also known as interosseous border. The lateral border which start ever from the supinator crust, and it is descend downward and merge with the lateral margin of the head of the ulna. You can see here this is the supinator crust. Below the supinator crust, the lateral border being start, it descend downward obliquely, and finally it is merged with the lateral part of the head of the ulna. The upper part of the lateral border is oblique, while the lower part of the lateral border is vertical. Then you can see here this is the anterior border. The anterior border of the ulna is thick and rounded, and this anterior border of ulna is start just medial to the ulnar tubicity. You can see here this is the ulnar tubicity, and just medial to the ulnar tubicity this is the anterior border, and this anterior border descend downward and merge with the styloid process. So over here this sharpest border is a lateral border, and this thick rounded border, this is the anterior border. Now the posterior border, you can see here this is the posterior border. Superiorly the posterior border start from the apex of the subcutaneous area of the posterior surface of the olecranon process, and it is descend downward, and finally it is merged with the base of the styloid process. So this border is called the posterior border. So this is the borders. Now we'll discuss about the surface of the shaft of the ulna. You can see here this surface is called anterior surface. This surface lies between the sharp lateral border and the thick round anterior border, and the upper 1/3 part of the anterior surface, here you can found a foramen. This foramen is called nutrient foramen. Then the medial surface which is present in between the anterior round thick border and posterior border. So in between the anterior round thick border and posterior border, this surface is called medial surface. Then the posterior surface is present between the lateral sharpest border and the posterior border. This is the posterior border, and this one is the lateral sharpest border. So this surface is called posterior surface. This posterior surface is divided into 3 areas by 2 lines. You can see here this oblique line divide this posterior surface into upper and lower part, and further this lower part of the posterior surface is also divided into a vertical line into medial and lateral part. Now we'll discuss about the lower end, a narrow part of the bone. This end is called lower end, and lower end of the ulna is comprises of a head and a hook-like process. This process is called styloid process. The head articulate with the ulnar notch of the radius and form the inferior radio-ulnar joint. This is the inferior end of the radius. Over here, this is the ulnar notch of the radius, and over this notch, the head of the ulna is articulate and form the inferior radio-ulnar joint. Then the styloid process project downward from the posterior medial side of the lower end of the ulna and posteriorly in between the styloid process and head. You can see here a groove. This groove which provide passage for the tendon of the extensor carpi ulnaris. This is all about the bony feature. Now we'll discuss about the muscle attachment of the ulna. The tricep brachii, which is insert into the rough posterior part of the superior surface of the olecranon process. This is olecranon process and this is the posterior rough part of the olecranon process. Over here we have a insertion of the tricep brachii muscle, the anterior part of the superior surface which is covered with the aponeurosis. Then the brachialis muscle which is insert into the anterior surface of the coronoid process. Over here we have an insertion of the brachialis muscle. Then the supinator arises from the supinator crust. Over here this is the supinator crust, and over here we have a origin of the supinator muscle. Over here we have a origin of the ulnar head of the flexor digitorum superficialis, and over here we have a origin of the ulnar head of the pronotor teres muscle. Flexor digitorum profundus arises from the upper 3/4 of the anterior surface and the medial surface of the coronoid and olecranon process, and posterior border of the shaft through the aponeurosis, which also give origin to the flexor carpi ulnaris and extensor carpi ulnaris. And the pronotor quadratus takes origin from the oblique ridge on the lower part of anterior surface of the ulna. Over here we have a origin of the pronotor quadratus muscle. Then flexor carpi ulnaris arises from the medial side of the olecranon process. Over here we have a origin of the flexor carpi ulnaris. Then extensor carpi ulnaris arises from the posterior border. Over here we have a origin of the extensor carpi ulnaris. Then the anconeus is insert onto the lateral aspect of the olecranon process and upper 1/4 of the posterior surface. Over here we have an insertion of the anconeus muscle. Then the lateral part of the posterior surface, this is the posterior surface, and this portion is called lateral part of the posterior surface. So this lateral part of the posterior surface give origin from above to downward adductor pollicis longus, extensor pollicis longus and extensor indicis. So over here we have a origin of the adductor pollicis longus. On the middle portion we have a origin of the extensor pollicis longus, and on the inferior aspect we have a origin of the extensor indicis muscle. Interosseous membrane is attached to the interosseous border. This border is also called as interosseous border. Over here we have a attachment of the interosseous membrane. Then the capsular ligament of the elbow joint is attached of the margin of the trochlear notch to the coronoid and olecranon process. So like that we have a attachment of the capsular ligament, and annual ligament is attached anterior and posterior margin of the radial notch. Ulnar collateral ligament of the wrist joint is attached to the styloid process. Over here we have attachment of the ulnar collateral ligament, and articular disc of the inferior radio-ulnar joint is attached by the apex of the small rough area just lateral to the styloid process. Just lateral to the styloid process we have a attachment of the articular disc. So this is all about the muscle attachment. Now we'll discuss some clinical importance of the ulna. The ulna is a stabilizing bone of the forearm with a trochlear notch gripping on the lower end of the humerus. On this foundation, the radius can pronate and supinate for efficient working on the upper limb. The shaft of the ulna may fracture either alone or along with the radius. Cross union between the radius and ulna must be prevented to preserve pronation and supination of the hand. The dislocation of the elbow joint is produced by the fall on the outstretched hand with the elbow slightly flexed. The olecranon process shifts posteriorly and the elbow is fixed in slight flexion. Normally in the extended elbow, the tip of the olecranon process lies in horizontal line with the two epicondyle of the humerus, and in the flexed elbow the three bony points from equilateral triangle. These relations are distributed in dislocation of the elbow. The fracture of the olecranon process is common and it's caused by the fall on the point of the elbow. Fracture of the coronoid process is uncommon and usually accompanies dislocation of the elbow. The Madelung's deformity is dorsal subluxation or displacement of the lower end of the ulna due to the regrade growth of the lower end of the radius. So this is all about the osteology of ulna. I hope you all are understood the topic.